Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very spontaneous and not thrown together at all live stream. Anger Egg Timer here, you there. Welcome, everyone, to a mod showcase. A huge new mod just dropped on Nexus. Actually, a couple of them earlier today. So we're going to check this out. We are currently on a brand new save over in Whittier. We have a couple of things to look at. So I'm kind of hiding what's behind door number 1 here. Let's take a look at the map real quick. So we have East Whittier. All of that's normal. You go up to Whittier. Go to Ella. What is this? Oh. What's this? Birdtown. Cherokee. Ravensford. What are these places? Indian Land Switch, Hyatt Creek, Round Bottom Camp. It's a brand new logging line, guys. It's a brand new logging railroad. We're going to explore it together for the first time here. We still have normal stuff over to Bryson and all that. We are literally on a super fresh start here. Then we have this stuff that also dropped. This is the Willamette. This is a basically an updated Shay, if you want to call it that. But it is 2-truck, 3-cylinder Shay. But this is the a later development. They're called Willamettes. So you still have all the fun of logging with this thing here. Let's get a little closer. But the fun thing is this is oil-fired. So no coal for this puppy, so we need to order a... Can I get up there, please? It's an oil tanker. And then I don't think it's quite working fully, but this is another mod. This is a big Alco 282 logging tank with 35,000 pounds of tractive effort. Let's hop in the cab of this one real quick. So these two just came out from Greninja with some help from Daniel Gallery. So we have this is a new locomotive, also oil-fired. And then for good measure, I put in a C68, Western Maryland 734 at home. Let's get in the cab of this thing real quick. So let me in. Thank you. So... very cool oil door. So, very cool. Now, these locomotives are not made by Luna, so there's not a lot of customization with it. You can change the fonts if you have the fonts installed, the whistle, and that's more or less it. It's like the base game engine. This one, I'm not sure why the front, what you know what I'm talking about. That thing. This thing, the number plate at the front. So they're going to be revealed the same way you would with a water tank, except you have to do that for oil. And I hear that up on the branch there are oil places. So let me actually get all of this here. You'll notice I am in Sandbox. Apparently there are still some little trips and stuff that are not working completely the way they should. I don't know if that's a fuse error or whether that's a error with the mod itself. I know they're on top of it. So, okay, so there's a Ravens fuel and then diesel fuel on bottom. I think that's it. So, basically, I've already ordered one interchange. We're going to use... Western Maryland 734 at home to go up the branch, deliver the stuff to Ravensford, and then more or less explore from there. Let me back this puppy up because we're going to drag the Willamette and the logging mic up. Scout, I am not seeing options with that piece of equipment to customize it. If I'm missing it, let me know, but it's not showing up for me with options to customize. So I've tried to do that. Maybe I'm missing a dependency somewhere, but I thought I got everything. But yeah, that's what's currently going on with that. So we'll get it up there and we'll update later on. But I wanted to make sure we showed this off here tonight. So we're gonna get some of this action here. So again, this is very, very new. I literally heard about this earlier today, and a friend was like, "Oh hey," I was like, I kind of want to do some logging, and they're like, "Well, if you wait a little bit, there'll be major logging." I'm like, "What do you mean there's major logging?" So I got tipped off, and lucky for us, it got dropped a little while ago. There were some updates that needed to happen to get that, but yeah. For those who are saying I'm quiet, apparently there's some weird things going on with my mic and my box that goes from there. So, it just kind of is what it is. I don't know how to update what I already got going here. Let's MU this puppy. We're probably going to wear out the Willamette just dragging it up to the thing, but we'll see. Okay. There we go. And yes, I know there's a huge mill and other stuff that we need to see, so we'll go and see that here in just a moment. We're just going to kind of build our train, drag stuff up, and go. Dang it. Silly steam engines. Okay. All right, so let's build this here. Let's start heading up, because the route to Ela everyone's seen before, but it's what's past Ela that is the big, exciting show stuff. So alrighty. And welcome to everyone who may or may not be new here. I am Angry Ragtimer, Lord of the Onion Rings. Good to have you. All right. So, is this a mod that was shown off on the WNCR stream too long ago? I honestly do not know. I am friends with Sam. I try to keep up to date on what he's doing, but yes, I did get Asset Loader, Lego Library, Logo Decal, and Toolshed. I know that Fuse is apparently having a few little problems, so it might be related to that. But we'll see here. But yeah, this is exciting. I am a huge fan of logging railroading, and it's awesome that this is now available for people to check out. And I think it's going to be something really cool just to have as we go. Let me MU these and just cut out the equipment. So, cut out. Okay, there we go. So, and we have our little Huntington Broadtop bobber caboose, because every little logging railroad needs a bobber. All right. Do Luna's locomotives work with Fuse? Yes. In my batch of equipment here, which I don't know how well it'll show up here, but I have most of Luna's equipment that is available in there. So Luna stuff does work. So boom. All right, so let's go and head up the line. Yes, the sawdust must float. Dang it! Hey, get that brake off. Where the hell's the brake? Cut out. There we go. All right, I think we're good now. All right, off we go. So good to have a lot of the usual people, a lot of new faces, well hopping in here. Nevada County Railroad fan, hello. TJ Williams, hello. Steam Lance, hello. I'm trying to play catch up with stuff. Jason Pace, thank you for being a member for 3 months, saying new stuff, woo. And Lich Lord Kurz over on Twitch, resubscribing at Tier 1 for 20 months on Twitch. Evening, everyone. Hello. Good to have you here. Build a Funky, hello. Dylan Ochoa, hello. Jonathan Coleman, hello. Mark of One, hello. All right. Okay, so I purposely got a locomotive with a lot of gumption. I have been fed very little about this. So what you are experiencing with me is like honest first-hand reactions to everything. I know that basically once I get up to Ravensford, the railroad basically switches. So basically you have your main line hauling, which goes from Ela up to Ravensford, and then it's logging all the way up the rest. Now, I do have... I think if I switch back over to... Well, let's put it like this. I tried before we got this here to do stuff in company mode. I hear that company mode is slightly broken. So if I go to company, let's see if it changes stuff. But I did set up some of the milestones. I have to reset, dang it. But there are progression things that I have in motion to kind of get that going. So yeah, we'll get the rod locomotives up to there, and then we'll go from there. Now I know there's a couple of other mods too that just dropped in the last couple of days. There's you know, a few like mods for scenery packs, that sort of thing. I elected not to install those just because I didn't want to you know, do anything silly like that. Okay, there we go. So once we get over to Ela, then we'll see where this goes. And this should be fun. Steamland saying, so I could donate for you and get a Mallet tank for sawmill/Ela duties. Yes. This is hopefully the beginning of a new series of logging stuff. I think there's a few patches that'll probably need to come out for this as it gets kind of tweaked and figured out. But I do plan on sticking with this to try it out. If you do want to support this, you know, certainly by all means, anything is appreciated. I also did put a link in the chat to General's fundraiser. For those who don't know, our friend General Stonewall had a catastrophic computer incident where a lot of stuff is not working anymore, and basically, you know, we're trying to get him funded for a new computer so we can do stuff. So that's currently what's up. Let me see. We have a special guest who we're going to be inviting in here to join tonight. Let's see if they actually accept. All right, yeah, someone's asking, can we see the Willamette at high speed gear? And that thing is just flying. So, Jeebus. Okay, let's hopefully not derail going around this curve at Mach whatever. Okay, there we go. So yeah, if you want to support anything, I would say support the GoFundMe for General. We're trying to raise some money for him to make his return to streaming and stuff easy. But hopefully we can get that here soon. Let me see. Let me try one other thing here. All right, so coming into Ela, we have a few new things here, and perfect timing because the creator of the mod has decided to join us this evening on stream. So everyone, please welcome King.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
So Happy to have King on here. As I said, this is brand new to me, so I'm literally coming into this with no knowledge of anything.
Oh, me quite the opposite.
And that's why it's a dang good thing you're here, because I know nothing. I am very impressed with the rework of Ela, just offhand. And obviously I know it only gets better from there. But King, before we get too far in, for anyone who may not know who you are on my streams, can you quickly introduce yourself and some of the mods you've done in the past?
Yes, of course. So obviously this one's pretty big. This is the one that I've been working on since around January. So it's been a long time. I've done a couple more prior to this, all smaller ones like Whittier Industries, King's Whittier Sawmill Plus Premium Deluxe. If you're into that one, there's I did a boat builder in Almond, which is also currently being reworked. But that's all the mod stuff I've done. But you know, I fart around. I do a lot of other stuff.
Excellent.
Indeed, I do.
Excellent. I know in the past, either on my streams or just privately, I've used a number of King's mods, some of the Whittier things, some of the other ones is over time, just kind of either on the whim of whatever I feel like, or you know, hey, this would be kind of cool to check out. And I will admit, I had heard rumblings of a logging mod for a while, but it was one of those things of like, I don't know who was making it, I don't know what the backstory was on it. I'm just going to kind of keep quiet, and the moment it pops out, you know, oh man, here we go. And apparently today is that day. So
today was that day, and unfortunately, it is suffering from a bit of an issue in company mode. So works fine in sandbox, but we're working on the company mode issue right now.
Yep, and right now I'm kind of tweaking back and forth between company and sandbox because I got some stuff started in company with some progressions, and I think some of that might have locked in as I was getting stuff, but
exactly.
we'll. You know,
if you started in sandbox, it should function. But it's in because the mod modifies some of the base game track at the start, it doesn't know what to do with itself, so it does kind of shit the bed a little bit. So. Yep.
But you know, that's just how it do be sometimes. So.
It is, unfortunately.
Yep. So I'm going to use this conveniently placed Y to turn my engine around before heading up the line. I do appreciate the fact that there's like an actual little interchange here. But it looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can just continually run longer trains out onto the main if you so choose. Can. Excellent.
So the Y there was actually added in 1920 after traffic got a little too busy. So that's another progression. Obviously, you've enabled it. So you can build that. You can build pretty much the entire thing. You start off with Ella to Cherokee, and then from there you have to build the entire rest of the line through progressions. So it is a challenge, but you know, who says challenges aren't fun?
Yeah, and I love railroads like that where you just kind of expand over time. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn all of those on, and because we're still on technically day 0 in game, that means I can theoretically turn stuff on. And because I'm a glutton for punishment, you know, we can...
The only tiered industry on the line is the Cherokee Coal Dealer and the Parsons Pulp and Lumber Company in Ravensford.
Okay. So what you're saying is I need to buy a bunch of stake flats or log cars is what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so what we'll do then is we'll get our one interchange car that just so happened to appear placed where it needs to go. We'll advance it tomorrow and just spawn in a bunch of them and then kind of have fun with the Willamette and see what goes from there. And
yeah, the Willamette, again, like you said, made by Green Ninja, or imported by Green Ninja, made by Daniel Gallery. So it's definitely nice to have some additional engines that you can use on this other than the base game. So I'm glad it all worked out like it did.
Yeah, that came out of left field. I was like, wait, what? We have a Willamette now? And
yeah.
I was like, oh, man.
For the keen members of you might have seen the WNCRR stream we did back in April or May that showed it off, obviously. it is now out for public consumption. So head over to the Nexus page for that.
Yes, and there are links in the video description for you to check out all of the downloads here. I will say the railroad itself is the one I linked to, but there are dependencies that you will need to get, but those are again linked on Nexus, so you can get all of that figured out here for you and just get the right files you need. So for me, who is completely uninitiated, can you tell me the history of this like whole branch line? Because I know it's based in realism.
I can. So everything that you see, other than some obviously machinery assets where you don't have everything ever made, and so, but for 95% of what exists here existed at some point in this manner. So whether that be the curves, the buildings, as much as I can get, the more general vibe than, you know, complete 100%, but it is very close to 100% how this was and operated back in the early 1930s.
And that's awesome.
So, yeah. All of this here you see in Ella and the entire rest of the branch, at least for the Appalachian Railway, was torn up in 1936 due to the creation of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So it was originally struck a deal with the Cherokee Nation to provide rail service into Cherokee. Fitting name, I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that happened around 1909, I believe. It was in Cherokee. And then in the late 1920s, it was extended into Ravensford, and then later on Smokemont, which was Champion Fiber's timberland operation. Yeah. And all of the timberlands existed at one point, but I can't say that it all existed at one time, because obviously they tear up this location, they logged it all out, they move on to the next. So that's more of a gamification in terms of just that's how the game works. I can't really do anything about that, but yeah.
Yeah. For like me, like that puts it in context of like I love going to Cass and riding up there. It's like, yeah, you ride to Bald Knob, but they didn't always have track to Bald Knob. And heck,
Exactly.
even the route they have now is kind of like oh, well, they went there and then they went over there, but they tore out this track and then they put this in. You know, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
And what is there now doesn't even compare to what they were planning on building before the creation of the national park. There would be triple the amount of trackage up there that they had planned to build if the National Park Service hadn't stepped in.
Interesting.
Which is crazy. And, you know, if I'm feeling bored for another 8 months, maybe I'll go through and add all of that in at some point.
You heard it here first, folks. Bother King so much that it forces them to just make it happen. No, I'm kidding. Don't actually do that. That's a terrible idea.
A future expansion, though, is going to be to Champion Fiber's operation at Smokemont. So the Appalachian interchanged with Champion Fiber at Ravensford to facilitate their traffic. So,
Cool.
And all of Champion Fiber's timberland were narrow gauge.
Interesting.
So that will be at some point.
Yes.
Maybe not soon, maybe never, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of if the mod makers are gracious enough to drop something, don't just ask for like when this, when now. Appreciate what you have, enjoy it, and if it gets better, fantastic. If it's not, you got the basic one, you know.
Yeah, and obviously it is in a state right now where I felt it was more than good enough to be released into the public. Obviously, transferring, and so I don't know if you had looked into the files, but this is in native fuse format, this mod.
Okay.
So the transferring of it from a rail loader mod, you know, how you and everyone else has always used it, into a fuse format, did something to the progressions, and so that's what the issue in company mode is. It's just a little unforeseen consequence of, I don't know what the word is, progress.
Yes. But hey, you have to figure these things out as you go. So
Exactly. I mean, there's no way we could have figured it out beforehand. Obviously, it would have been nice to know, but oh well.
yeah. And as I said, like, I'm keeping a close eye on this one because, you know, once all those bugs are figured out and then you can have progression, I think that would make an awesome series in here. You do like twice a week. All right, let's keep building the logging railroad. Let's get up here. Let's get bigger equipment. This is more or less just a kind of a quick, not a quick, but we'll be here for a bit, but a showcase of here's what the line is, here's what we got. You know, see all this cool stuff.
If you're interested in that, I would keep your eyes open for a prospective series that may or may not be happening in the future.
Bum bum bum. Exactly.
But yeah, so my favorite part of playing a railroader, especially in the early game, was building out the railroad and doing the progressions. So I really wanted this to emulate that, to where you are building the railroad and you have to build every mile past Cherokee. Of course, it's incredibly hard, and if you're playing without the sawmill in Whittier and the 2 logging branches, which are nulled out by default by a progression, so you can choose to use them or you cannot for the authentic experience. But you don't have a lot of money, so when you do eventually get to Ravensford and build the sawmill, you do get a large sum of reimbursement from Parsons Pulp and Lumber. So
This is really scenic up here.
it's very scenic up here, especially as you can see. There's variation in the vegetation masks.
Yes.
Which does help a lot. There are some weird little areas because it's national land class data, so it's kind of blocky in some cases. But
probably should not be going 41 up this line. But, you know, I also tried to pick a big honking locomotive that might have a good enough wheelbase because I was not sure how tight the curves were coming up here. I know past Ravensford, I was tipped off that it gets funky in the good way possible.
Ravensford is actually less funky than you would imagine. It's round bottom that you're going to want to run the more traversable locomotives.
Okay.
I tried, so sacrificing a little bit more of the complete position pinpoint accuracy of the track for larger locomotives to, say, run transfers between round bottom and the sawmill. But after round bottom, it gets rough.
Got it.
Rough.
Mark of one asking how steep are we at the moment. Accordingly, we are... Oop. I know what I'm doing. It's only... We were on a 2% grade earlier.
It is relatively flat. So there's one hill coming out of Ella, and then it goes back down, and then it's relatively flat the entire way to Cherokee.
And you saw that, obviously, with the big, nice little horseshoe... Or the big, nice little... That's probably some sort of oxymoron. The horseshoe curve with that nice area I was saying was pretty scenic and all that.
It's so pretty back here, and it's like, I've spent 8 months looking at it, so I'm kind of like tapped out in terms of ooh ah, but it is, and it's a lot nicer to have something different to look at and something that fits in here and isn't, you know, crazy.
Yeah. Odd Redneck, I knew you would ask for other Great Jarl or Yellowstone, which is why I purposely did not install them. Maybe on the once progression stuff's figured out and we do a regular series on this, maybe for the funny, but for today not so much. All right, so we passed Nick Bottom. We're now in Birdtown.
Nick Bottom wasn't particularly a settlement, but there were a large amount of farms there, and the farm supply building there that transports corn is fictitious, so it is built by a progression. but it helps the transition from not having the sawmill, not having the logging branches, and gives you a little more income in the early game.
Yep. Dick Stoll over on Twitch. Hello, good to have you here this evening.
Birdtown was a little more developed, and there were actually houses and buildings and a community here. So there is a passenger station. There are 3 passenger stations, per se: Ella, Ravensford, and Cherokee. And then past Cherokee, they're passenger stations, but they're called worker halts, and you need to transport passengers in camp cars to simulate worker transit.
Now that would be fun.
It is fun.
Wasn't there an interchange at Ela at one point? I imagine there would have been.
Yes, so the yard looks like that because that was the Appalachian Railway's interchange with the Southern. So all the traffic that came from the branch all went down into Ela and interchanged with the Southern there.
And Steamland's asking, does King know anything about the logging lines near Proctor, North Carolina?
There's a possibility, but that does not ring a bell as of right now. So I'm going to say no. But
you have to remember, the guy's been staring at the same bit of map for 8 months. That's the hyper-focus right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, in the research, I've probably come across a lot about it because even if we couldn't find something about this specific one, we took a lot of inspiration from logging lines around this area. So it's incredibly possible.
It's like when people normally ask me on stream, they're like, oh, what is your opinion of X locomotive? That's this like, obscure one that they only had 1 or 2 of. It's like,
anytime anyone asks my opinion of any locomotive, my eyes glaze over. They're like, did you see that 1284 is out of the shop? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't.
Yeah.
And whether that's, I think it's a blessing more than a curse, because as much as I don't like saying I'm tuned out to that. So it helps with my sanity.
Yeah, and my excuse is like my first love and passion is narrow gauge. Second would be logging stuff. In fact, my friends are mocking me, and I have no way to actually do this in real life, but there's a freaking live steam Shay that's the right scale and size for my garden railroad that's on eBay at a very dumb low price right now. And people are like, oh, get the Shay, get the Shay. It's like,
of course you should get the Shay.
I mean, of course I will at some point, but I don't think now is the right time. Even though it's like half the price that it normally would go for. Can't justify it. But logging stuff has always been a bit of a passion. Fell in love with stuff at Cass and, out seeing the West Side stuff, both in Colorado. Now a lot of that's back to California. Yosemite Mountain, Sugar Pine, Roaring Camp, that sort of thing. Love that sort of stuff. So.
Someone asked if the interchange is going to be part of the base game. So there is, it was going to be part of the 1.0 release, but like I said, converting it to native Fuse format did some nonsense to it. So there is going to be a custom Ella start where you are the Appalachian Railway and you have an interchange at Ella and you are running on the line itself. So that will be something that is coming soon. So keep your eyes out for that. And therefore you then have to buy to Whittier and buy everything else like you normally would.
And that'd be awesome, just having a different start.
Yeah, changes it up.
Exactly.
It'd be a little different. Like you're not. I might make it so that you have the sawmill doing that start, so that you can actually do something and have some traffic. Just that could be like the easy mode, per se.
Yeah, and then of course, if you're like, no, you want the hardcore, have an option, toggle it off, or choose the beginning or something. Yeah. Yeah, so for those who are saying, oh, there's a Shay on the back of the train, there's a lot of people in the chat who are screaming, it's a Willamette! In theory, it's a Shay, but it's a Willamette. It's a slightly different design.
If I remember Drew telling me correctly, it was the patent for the Shay expired, and then these people decided, oh, it's our big break, it's time to make some money. But by the time that happened, the Shays had mostly gone out of favor.
Look at that foul gear fly. But yeah, there's a handful of Willamettes still out there. I think there's at least 2 or 3 running, mainly on the West Coast. They're cool locomotives.
Basically a Shay, though.
Yeah, it's basically in all practices and principles it's a Shay, but
it's a Willamette.
Yeah,
get that right.
Yep, it even says so on the side of the boiler with the plate there that I just discovered.
I have also heard it been pronounced Willamette. Don't know the efficacy of that statement.
Yeah, I've had a few people correct me and say it's the second syllable, Willamette. So, we'll see. All right, we're in Cherokee now. I like this mural. Was this a mural that was actually in the town, or was this something that was custom made for...
So the mural was not there, but that picture is real. That is the last train to run on the Appalachian Railway in 1936.
Wow.
Yeah. So colorized, obviously, and just looking at that right now, I'm realizing that I forgot to add CLB's assets as a dependency on the mod page.
Well, thankfully, it is loaded on my save here. We'll stop for a quick second just so we can take a look at some of these buildings here.
Yes, so one of the buildings here is historically accurate to the town. There weren't a lot of pictures of this. So that one picture on the mural is the only picture we have of the train in Cherokee at any point. And so a lot of any of the other pictures, especially in Cherokee, all came from much later or much earlier.
Okay. I know some of the lore on this. I just really appreciate the fact that there's a pancake palace here.
Isn't it just joyful? Isn't it just joyous?
It is. I actually have a pancake palace sticker on my water bottle that's next to me right now. So
that makes me happy.
Yes. Our mutual friend is very happy, I'm sure, of that as well.
Oh, they did not know that it was there when they first got access to it, so it was a surprise, and I did greatly enjoy watching them experience that.
Excellent. So remember, Flappy Jacks, go to the Pancake Palace, the king of pancakes. All right, and I love all of these custom signs, the Coca-Cola, the Gulf Oil.
The gas station, that is actually a historically modeled building off of the building that was here in Cherokee during the time of the railroad. So if you actually go back to the mural on the building on the far side of town, you'll see the Gulf sign.
There it is.
Right there. So that picture was taken going northbound from the gas station.
More or less something like here.
Exactly.
Cool.
Obviously, it's not 100%, but I think it's pretty cool nonetheless.
It's pretty daggone close, all things considered.
It is. And that is a building that Ross made custom for this, obviously.
Nice.
So, shout out to him.
Shout out to Ross. All right. And then we have Cayuga Trading Post, the Okana Cafe, and the General Store. Looks like our little strip mall here.
Of course. So Cherokee was very commercialized afterward, and so that's playing more off of the pictures of later that we have. So it was, think of hotels and obviously, but in the 1930s. So that's my or at least attempt to get the... And they basically looked like that. So
Kind of
imagine that, but with a lot more.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. There's like a row of stores up in Frostburg, Maryland, at the end of the Western Maryland Scenics line. That it's not the ones if you go up the hill to actually like downtown, but like down lower. It gives that older, town sort of vibe. So like that a lot. Looks like some sort of freight house or,
Is the coal dealer.
Okay.
For Cherokee. So Cherokee had a coal dealer. That is the only other industry on the line that is a tiered industry.
Okay.
Other than, I'm forgetting, the farm industry in, what's it to you? Birdtown.
Yeah.
There should be coal piles on the ground there and doors on the building, but that is my fault that you do not have that, as I did not put that as a dependency on the page.
Coming soon.
Just imagine that it looks. Imagine there's a door and there's coal on the ground.
Yes. Coming soon.
On the ground.
Yes. Coming soon.
Same thing with this.
Yes.
So that's the freight house building.
Okay.
Now, there wasn't any evidence that a freight house did exist here in Cherokee, but it was really hard to get the look and feel right without having a building there. So I think it looks pretty good nonetheless.
Excellent. Then another strip mall there. Browning's Craft Shop, Water Wheel Craft Shop, Cherokee Trading Post.
All actual historical names of the stores that did exist here during this time period.
Awesome. The post office, gotta love it. And did they actually have a row of boxes like this outside, or is this?
No, that's more of a me-ism to furthermore demonstrate that it is a post office. The post office in Cherokee, there's 2 pictures of it, and it's either well before the railroad or just after the railroad, and we can't figure it out.
Gotcha.
So, TBD on that.
Yep. Guy called Odin over on Twitch saying, with 100 bits, saying, first of all, Willamette is correct based on how Rowdy from Mount Rainier says it. Secondly, no, Willamette's running. Only a couple with any potential currently are at Mount Rainier, another in Missoula, Montana, and I think somewhere in Oregon, although several others are undergoing various types of rebuilds. Well, cool. Smoky Mountain Haberdashery, Butcher Shop, Cherokee Inn and Trading Post, another building over there. And then, of course, when we got into town here, it looks like we had a couple other stores. And, of course, that mural once again. That is really cool that was able to be put in here. That really is cool.
Yeah, that was, now that I'm remembering, I had him make a billboard, too, and I forgot to put it in.
As we said, this is a first look. This is by no means the absolute final. Still, fun stuff coming soon.
Me.
So
I had him put in a 5 miles to Cherokee billboard. So does the depot need to move back a little?
Might be, because right now I can go out and lick the roof if I wanted to.
It's fresh shingles though. It hasn't been rained on yet. So
that's good. Yeah, at the Broad Top where I work, one day we were taking our diesel number 19 out, and I was riding in the fireman's seat just for the move back in the yard. And there's one spot where we get real close to our sand house. And I was like, I could literally stick my hand out this window and touch the roof if I wanted to. And it's a corrugated metal roof, so it would not be fun at speed to touch that. But I was like, man, all right, close clearances. Checks out, narrow gauge. All right. Let's keep moving up the line here, see what else we got.
Narrow gauge. Yeah, so the industry and the operation out of Smokemont, which we'll see the line to in Ravensford, was all narrow gauge past the sawmill. In Smokemont, so like there's a lot of data and history on Smokemont and Champion Fiber.
Okay.
Barely any on the operation that we've modeled here. The Appalachian, the not Champion Fiber, Parsons Pulp and Lumber Company, there's a couple pictures of the sawmill, and there is a map. There's a map that the CCC made when they came in here and started doing things that turned out to be incredibly holy and just stupidly wrong.
Sounds about right.
And so we had originally based a design off of that and then realized, this actually makes 0 sense. And they were like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll do it this way. Which ended up being the version that we see now.
Gotcha.
CCC, I have beef with you. Specifically, the people that were in in North Carolina in the 1930s. All the other people, they're fine. But yeah, very little, couple of images, and everything past Ravensford was kind of. I used a lot of lidar scans to see all of the embankments and cuts and everything. Surprisingly, still all there. There was a guy who commented on either the live stream or something, and said that he had hiked all of the lines himself, and so I was like, that's definitely a goal of mine. And the main holy grail of this branch is a book. I am blanking on the title right now, but it was written by Gerald Ledford and Ron Sullivan, I believe, who, again, hiked all of these lines back here and did a bunch of historical research. So all of the research that, I'd say 90% of it came from this one book by these two people.
Excellent.
That we had to custom order from them. So
I believe it.
It was a godsend to have.
Yep. Guy called in with 50 bits over on Twitch. Follow up because I had to check myself. Check steamlocomotive.com. Medford, Oregon has 3 truck Willamette being restored to operation. Mount Rainier has one that is currently stored, but in their next after the Port of 5 if they need more steam power. And Fort Missoula Historical Museum is restoring theirs to operation. I do remember that video from the folks at Mount Rainier about how they said the Willamette actually would be more efficient for them to run for work train service on their out-of-service track than the diesel, which is a fun comment for them to make. I'll just say it that way. Not what I would have normally thought, but hey, if they see the reason and it works, more power to them. Alrighty, so we are south of Ravensford. We got a few more twists and bends to get up there. I do appreciate how there's actually you're kind of doing woods running and stuff, which, no offense to the base game, but it's like, yeah, I kind of like these moments where it's like, yeah, you have a field, but just like normal railroad right-of-ways, if you're pouring coal or other, carbon-based things out your stack, you're basically giving tree food to right along your right-of-way, and you get a nice wooded area as a result over time.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that.
It looked really sad and dead before I put the trees there. So I think it definitely helps, and it gives you they planted the trees and because the neighbors were mad at something,
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty good.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the river there, you can actually see North Carolina Route 107 that I put in to give a road connection up to Ravensford.
There
so
you
that
go.
goes that connects into the roads at Ella.
Nice. So not just the roads that appear and disappear in base game.
Exactly. All of the roads that you see connect to each other, thankfully. After much looking and digging and nonsense. It's fun. Enjoy
Yeah.
it. Trust me, if I didn't enjoy it, this would not have come to fruition. So.
Yeah. And Solaris, I will remind you what we said earlier. Let's not badger the creator of, oh, well, if you're looking for your next project, let's just enjoy what we have now. And if they choose in the future of, hey, I have another project idea, awesome.
I have not decided, but more so leaned more favorably toward extending the line toward Murphy with Elysium.
Oh, well, that didn't go well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a bad one. I should have warned you. Realism!
Dang it. All right.
So, yeah. Going toward Murphy, probably, because Murphy is really interesting if you've ever looked at it. It's basically the railroad crosses the river, and Murphy is kind of on a peninsula. So then there was a Y, and the interchange was right there on the curb. It's a really interesting town, or city, rather. And Ross would model all of the buildings in Murphy. So we would have an actual cityscape down
Nice.
there. So, yeah. That's probably going to be the next thing. But after a considerable break of not doing anything after this, because my brain kind of hurt.
Yeah. If I can ever learn how to do map making and stuff, you know, I would love to try to recreate, even if it's standard gauge, you know, some of the stuff.
Well, you can do narrow gauge now.
I know. You know, either more logging stuff or, you know, like EBT in game would be kind of fun as a custom map. Or,
Oh,
you know.
well, that is absolutely, at least what it seems like, going to be possible with the MOW update. So
Which would be awesome.
that's something that I've been looking forward to for a while.
Yeah. So yeah.
That I like the setting and the base game. I really do. I think it was a good choice. And so, like, that's why I've always tried to, like, make my mods fit in with it, because I personally just don't like the giant what's-it-to-yas. But it'll definitely allow people to do what they want more. Which I think is what this game needs.
Yeah. You know, and over time, once the maintenance update comes out and you're able to do that sort of stuff, God knows what we're actually going to see. You know.
Well, it's like, obviously they've been cooking up something for this amount of time without dropping something, so I am definitely prepared for the options to come.
And I'm going to make a wild guess and say that we are in Ravensford.
I would deem your guess correct. Now that depot might be too close too.
Yeah, it's a little on the close side for a bigger engine.
Yeah, well, you're breaking the rules.
Well, that's me. I'm the rule breaker.
I can tell.
All right. So I'm going to start with this absolutely, I'm going to call it a beautiful monstrosity, which is not a slam at it at all.
Oh,
But sawmill. This looks awesome. This is a major upgrade compared to the Whittier stock one.
funny enough, I actually made this sawmill out of the Whittier one. I had about 9 of them chained together, and it looked good. So I was pretty pleased with myself. There's early pictures in my modding forum of it, if you're interested. But
Ooh.
I was pretty pleased with myself. But obviously, you can't get better than this.
Yeah, I mean, this is freaking awesome.
I'm seeing another side effect of the CLBs not being installed. You're missing the pond. So, again, I apologize.
Well, I know CLBs is installed. I think the problem is Fuse is with the compatibility.
I don't know what it is.
Because right now I've got it's in there, but it's saying a lot of stuff is disabled, which I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Why that is, but
all things that will be worked out eventually.
Yep. So.
But there is a pond there. It's just use your imagination.
Yes. Imagine there's some water here. So then that looks like you have like what 2 log dumps going into the pond.
Yeah.
And then
Also
from
for
there.
pulpwood.
Ooh, also for
So
pulpwood.
How the pulpwood works is there's a pulpwood flume at Hyatt Creek that you then produces unsorted pulpwood that you then have to come and bring down here to the sawmill for them to sort it to load it as usable actual pulpwood.
Oh, wow.
So it gives a little bit more of an operational challenge if you want to use this for pulpwood.
Okay. Tons of drying racks.
Those are actually lumber.
Oh, lumber. I'm sorry.
From the sawmill. Yeah, it's okay. I forgive you.
And then is this an engine house over here with a freaking machine shop on the side?
Oh yeah, go ahead and take a gander in there. So this is also one of the only pictures that we have of this. So we are able to model both, well, obviously the sawmill and the engine shed as close as possible to what was here in reality. So it's when I saw that for the first time, I felt like it was a moment.
Absolutely.
The inside is a little more because obviously there are not pictures of it, but I think Ross, again, another incredible job by Ross.
Yep, you got your planer, you have your lathe, you got your couple of drills.
It's not outlandish that this is what they had up here. They were pretty much self-sufficient.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had about, I think, 13 shays at one point.
13 shays. Mother of God.
Sorry, that was Smokemont. And the 13th shay, of course, not numbered 13. I believe it was 2258.
Okay.
Or something like that, because those loggers are real superstitious. Not just a little stitious.
Exactly. Nice. And then you have a little small Y, obviously, of the town.
Exactly.
Over here.
And the bridge going across the river, that is the line to Smokemont.
Okay.
Right there. So that is coming eventually, but it is kind of simulated at this moment. There is, it's a, I don't know how to explain it. The interchange there simulates an industry that you are interchanging with.
Okay.
That does not exist yet. So you'll get cars delivered going to Smokemont, they'll get loaded, and then they'll come back and get sent out to the external interchange. So it exists, but it doesn't exist, if you know what I mean. But
well, it's convenient because it looks like we have a car for said interchange. So it'll probably be a good thing for us to actually deliver it while we're here.
And you have to build the Timberlands. You don't start out with the Timberlands built.
Okay.
So the Kona Lefty Railroad has graciously given you the opportunity to buy logs from them to feed your sawmill until you build the Timberlands. So
nice.
That is an option as well for the early game. And of course, if you never want to build the Timberlands and you just want to take logs from the Kona Lefty, you can do that too.
Excellent. All right, let's switch this out real quick. And of course, we're going to use the shay, or I'm sorry, Willamette. I immediately caught myself. I'm like, dang it, I said the word. But, I know. You know, and the easier way to probably do this would be to pull up and then put this on another track. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, we're actually just going to plop you over there for the moment. I think it makes sense from here if what's up above us is all logging camps for the most part to grab a couple of log cars and then get this Willamette turned around and start heading up. See what we can get, unless you recommend taking the 282 instead.
I would take the 282.
Okay.
When we did it all with the Willamette, it took, I think, 4.5 hours to go from one end to the other.
Okay.
So,
well, then it's a good thing that we are in sandbox mode, because I'm going to cheese this a little bit now with the information that I have been given. And
with the progressions, Ross has also made custom flat cars and log cars for this that you have access to as well, and camp cars. And all of them, so specifically in the progressions, you have to deliver the yarders and skidders and everything for the logging camps to function. So
nice.
When you build the lines, you deliver the skidders on their cars.
Nice.
Which is pretty awesome.
And for those of you who might be screaming into the void saying, where's your front number plate? Where's your pilot? There are some dependencies that aren't loading the way they should, which will be figured out and adjusted for the future. So don't at me saying, your engine looks silly. So
I don't know what that could be, actually.
Again, I think it's an issue with how either Fuse is loading something or...
It probably is.
Yeah, because
Like,
again,
Fuse
I've got stuff in, but like whistles are disabled, object packs, Scold's not even installed correctly. Like there's,
as great as Fuse is, there's a reason that it was released now, because these are all things with, like, we tested Fuse with this, the EFNA, and a very like small amount of mods. So having it now be open to the public, where obviously there are going to be some issues with mod combinations or custom private mods that were not obviously available to us during the testing, are going to have some issues. But they are, I can guarantee you for a fact, they are working on fixing them as we speak.
Well, I did a thing.
You gotta be careful.
I need to not go fast on these logging railroads.
I know.
And the other thing, of course, is these engines are oil-fired, which is unique and different. Why were they oil-fired? Just dealer's choice, or just...
Yeah. It came about because Hunter and I were kind of farting around and seeing what we could do, and so we did. It was just something that we wanted to do. So oil firing just was a byproduct of this, and then Green Ninja. That one he modeled himself to be oil firing, and the Willamette was originally made by Daniel Gallery and imported by him. So yeah, we wanted some engines that had could use this new fancy thing that we made.
Yep. And for those who are adding me in the comments saying, no, you have to customize it to add them. It's not missing dependencies. I am in customization. There is no option for front number plate and when I try to do Lego's defaults to update, it's not giving me an option. So again,
I can give it to you later.
Yay!
I'll bequeath you the correct information.
Perfect. Alrighty, so we're gonna be lazy here. And we're going to move, definitely not Western Maryland 734, out of the way. Just put you over Mia. And then, let's see. This is 36,000 pounds or 35,000 pounds of tractive effort.
You'll be fine to round bottom.
Okay.
Past round bottom, I would not have many cars.
Okay. So, would you recommend for this to be more prototypically accurate? More skeleton cars, flat cars with stakes? Like, what did they run historically on this line?
I don't know if we ever figured that out, actually. There wasn't really any pictures of that.
Okay, well, we're just going to run skeletons then. I'll put 8 down here just as a...
You could use the custom ones that Ross made.
Ooh, we have custom ones, so then yes.
If you hold shift while you do that, it'll...
Yeah, there we go.
Those
okay.
Are the ALW ones that are right there. And then there's also the camp cars that are somewhere in that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's see.
I
know there they are. A flat car. We're just gonna tack 2 on the front. Woo! Steam donkeys.
Oh yes, there you go.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was talking about earlier.
Nice.
So those get delivered to the Progression Industries.
Nice.
I don't remember what he called the camp car. I think it's It says camp car. In
Is it under like a passenger car, or is it?
It actually might be under passenger. Yeah,
there it
right
is.
there. So that all of the stations past Ravensford only can take passengers in the campsite.
Okay. Cool. All right, let's turn this engine around and couple up, and then let's start shoving up here and going. Because we still have much of the line to see.
You do. It's all nice to look at too. So.
It is. And again, the beautiful thing about this game is the fact that the modding community has been so involved in, like, okay, base game's fun, what else can we do? And then finding ways to be like, oh, hey, here's a logging railroad. Oh, hey, here's this town I've created on the top of a hill. Hey, here's this prototypical or fantasy or, you know, whatever rolling stock or whistles, bells, like, there's been so much that for a game that's, what, only 3 years old? Really? 3.5 years old at this point? Like,
yeah.
Like, kind of blowing it out of the water, you know, which is awesome.
I don't want to, like, toot my own horn, although, of course, I will. I like to think of this at least somewhat DLC quality. You know, it's something that could make it into the base game. A fun fact, or at least a fun experience that you won't get to, as you build the Timberlands further and further back, more and more houses in Ravens get built.
Nice.
So your actions do kind of change the environment that you are operating in. Which is another thing that I wish the base game did a little more of.
Yeah. All right, we'll get coupled up here. Get that going. And I will mention also, you know, as King said, this stuff is very good quality. You know, I know we've showcased some mods on here that were like super jank, but like this is really nice. And if you do feel like supporting them directly on the Nexus page, which again is linked down in the video description, there is a link for Buy Me a Coffee in case you'd like to throw a few bucks their way as a thank you for this. You know, maybe as an encouragement of, hey, you're doing a good job. We like what we see. Maybe cool stuff will happen in the future, maybe not. But it always is nice to support the creators who are doing this stuff. So,
I like to think everything I do is cool. So, but thank you.
Yes. So Bunker C. How does one order Bunker C? Is that an item that you have to get from an interchange, I'm assuming? Or
it is. So you order it just like any other fuel commodity.
Okay.
And then if you go over there right now, as of right now, I believe there is only one loader. I put in another loader at round bottom and it did not save. So that is also coming. But if you go right over there, you'll see the Bunker C loader.
There you go. I kind of want to put something like that on my garden railroad. I've got one engine that I have that is based off an oil burner, and all of my facilities I'm building are coal-themed. But the guy who builds for me, his name is Randy. He runs Pacific Coast Guard and Railway Supply. Does make oil loading platforms that are very similar to the one here in game. And they're not that expensive either. That's kind of that would be maybe a next year add-on for my little garden railroad shenanigans. Because all you do is you just get you know, like a Bachmann tank car and then plop that on top of the structure and boom, oiled tire, or, you know, there you go. So that's very cool.
Yeah. Ross made that asset, and then obviously Hunter programmed it to work. So, shout out to those two awesome people.
And I do love all the company houses. You know, again,
Also,
I have to give it like Cass vibes because that's just again, logging company town. You know, there it is.
there are pictures of the houses on that hill. And so those are the pictures that he did use to make those. So they're not, again, 100%, but I think they look smashing. So
Awesome. All right, so off we go. Steam donkeys in tow. Up the line. And hey, that road is continuing to follow us up. Incredible.
Right? So that is actually one of the last things that I added. I didn't know for sure because I'd only just finished NC 107 a couple days ago. And so I was looking at the topographical maps from like 1936, and then I found some from 1902. And the road did actually predate the railroad up here by a couple years. It doesn't go all the way, but it does go far enough to tell a story of development is happening back here. And I'm in the process of, it didn't get quite done by tonight, but putting a lot more scenery back here and making it feel coming soon.
Yes.
More things to look forward to.
Yes.
I'm not a one pump chump with mods.
Yes. Ooh. Once again, this is why I love logging railroads. Yes, this is a video game. This is a simulation of railroading in, the mountains of western North Carolina. But it's like, it gets freaking pretty. You know, it's just freaking nice. All right, let's get our train around here. Is there a recommended speed limit on this line? I forgot to look. I know there's a 15 up there. Okay, 25.
You should be okay going 25 the whole way, unless obviously stated otherwise.
Cool.
But it was kind of a challenge putting the road in because they built that road on the old right-of-way in some places.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to fudge it. But you can't tell.
Yeah.
Unless you're literally staring at the map, you're not going to tell. And
Yeah.
of course, obviously, now you all know because I just told you, but...
Bum,
You
bum, bum. Yeah.
You can actually see an artifact of the National Land Class data. So if you zoom out real quick, you can see on right where that road is, there's that grass.
Uh-huh.
It's because the National Land Class data classes that differently because there's a road there.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
it looks a lot better having a road there rather than just having a streak of random green.
Yeah.
All of that today is a campground. So you can come camping right next to the Appalachian Railway.
Yeah, someone do that and report back to all of us, please. And send a lot of photos.
Smokemont also is a campground now. So, Smoke Mountain Campground, I think it is in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. You can go camping. Pretend you can still hear the sawmill.
There you go. I'm sure that would have been deafening back in the day. Okay. So as we continue to head up here, I'll make my small little plug of thank you for watching this, as I said earlier, a very impromptu stream. As soon as this came out, I'm like, we have to try this. We have to test it out. We have to take a look. So I appreciate everyone who's tuning in, whether on YouTube, Twitch, or however else you found this here. If you like this sort of stuff, I do plan on trying to stream 2 to 3 days a week in Railroader as we continue on. Certainly with this, as the campaign, or I would call it, company mode gets, whittled out and those things get all fixed, I'll certainly be running a series on this. So if you want to tune in, consider subscribing. Hitting the like button on the stream, that little thumbs up icon is the easiest way to support me because the YouTube algorithm is a bitch. And for smaller creators like me, every little bit certainly helps. And if you think, wow, this is really cool and you want to, really help, I do have channel memberships. I do have super chats, that sort of thing. Every little bit does help. Other than playing video games, I have my own garden railroad, which is run with live steam locomotives. It's in my backyard. I've been building over the past year. So if you want to check it out, check out those videos. But a lot of the super chats, donations, memberships that come in goes directly to that, which then feeds more content for y'all. So every little bit helps, and I sincerely appreciate it. Especially because I'm going to have some more expenses in the future. I'll tell the whole story on a different stream, but long story short, on Saturday night, a giant kitchen-sized dish of Alfredo sauce spilled over the back of my car and went freaking everywhere, and now I have to get it detailed to get the curdled milk smell out of the back of my car. Yeah, that's going to be a fun couple $100 getting that figured out. So, if you want to help me get the curdled milk smell out of my car, consider throwing $5 or $10 my way just to help out. But I digress. We're not here to talk about that. That'll be a story on the next stream night I have. Anyways, so we'll continue up here. What is the grade? Is it still kind of flat, or is it?
It's like 2%.
Okay.
The milk, in like the 2% milk that's in the back of your car.
Shut up. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't get crazy until after round bottom.
Okay.
After round bottom, you're looking at about 7-8%.
Hell yeah, brother. And Philip over on YouTube saying, I just got back from this region, spent a week near Gatlinburg, took a Jeep tour through the Smokies, and was told it was originally the old lumber line. It was cool and curvy. Awesome.
Philip, what road were you on? Because there is a portion of a road out near Round Bottom, on the portion coming out of Round Bottom, that was laid on the old right-of-way and embankments there. So certainly a possibility you have traveled this line.
In real life.
In real life.
Bum, bum, bum. And Thorn, thank you for being a member for 19 months. Appreciate it.
I definitely have a plan to come to this location at least once. I've spent 8 months looking at it on a screen. I might as well experience the real deal.
I feel that. Yeah. All right, let's keep pushing up here. Again, the further we go up, it seems like the scenery just keeps getting better and better. So, can't go wrong with that.
It's very pretty back here. And that river took a lot of work. I did not have the honor of placing it. That would be burned bacon. And so, props to him. He also put in every single creek within a mile radius of this. So that's also coming.
Okay.
I can get them to not look like a ribbon that's flying through the air. So we are doing it. So yes, rivers to come.
Excellent.
They do add a lot of it. Like the river here wasn't here for a large part of it. It was only recently that we actually put it in, and it just changes and adds so much it's not so static. You know, there's something pretty to look at and keep your mind looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing what a little bit of detail will do to completely enhance the experience of what you're actually, seeing and doing.
Yeah, and like the terrain masks being variable and having not just trees helps a lot. When I first saw it, when Hunter first finally gave that to me, I was incredibly happy with how they look.
Yeah.
It's okay, Philip. I forgive you.
Call up the tour guide and harass them until you get the answer. No, I'm kidding. Don't actually do that. Yeah, you're right. Coming up here, I honestly was expecting the grade to start immediately, which was like, oh, Shay. But, yeah, you're right. This little 282 is the better call for that.
Yeah. It really doesn't get too crazy until Pinoak Gap and Beach Ridge.
Okay.
And then, really, they designed this in a pretty amazing way to where there's one big hill, and then it's flat up in the Timberlands.
Interesting.
So these were, if you were talking about logging people who knew what they were doing, it was these people.
It wasn't just BSing their way up the hill of, I guess we'll go this way and back down and up.
It was incredibly thought out, and it shows. Of course, it still goes up and down, but compared to 8%, it's flat.
Yeah.
There are a total of 4 switchbacks? If my mental reconstruction did that correctly. Depends on what you technically classify a switchback as. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think 4.
If you ask our friend General Stonewall, he'll say a switchback is nothing but a branch line to disguise. Wise words. Confusing words, but wise words.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's a branch line stacked on top of a branch line in a trench coat.
There you go. It's 3 branch lines in a trench coat.
Oh my god.
The horror. So when did they start building this line? Obviously, I know you've talked about like 1930s and stuff for photographs, but when did they actually build this? What decade?
They got to Cherokee in 1909, and they built up here in around 1925, because I believe the mill at Ravensford was only around for 6 years. Until the shutdown. Or maybe it was not around for an incredibly long time. I think I'm thinking of Smokemont, because Smokemont was built in 1929. So all of this back here is ranging from 1910 to 1930s.
Okay.
So it's not a perfect representation of this era. It's how, say, if they built something and couldn't demolish it. So, but nothing past 1936, obviously, because everything was gone.
Yep.
And everything back here was probably gone earlier than that. The Appalachian Railway was just finally taken out in 1936. You know, I might actually have the document that says when. I don't remember. Let's go look in my library.
Yes. Meanwhile, Joshy Washi Plays over on Twitch saying, hey, I'm new to using Fuse and was wondering, how do I install map mods into it? Is it installing directly to the mod folder or no?
It is.
It is. You're basically just unzipping into the mod folder. and it should go from there. Now, I did see the 15 mark on the map before coming up here. I did not just bong into it, balls to the wall on this sharp curve. Especially because I don't know if you can hear it, but Smells Like Kenosha is currently playing on my stream, which everyone's like, oh, it's the crash music.
Of course. I don't actually... There probably is a date on some of these images, but of course it is cut out from the pictures that I was sent. Because, of course. I will keep looking, though.
Yep. And
like I said, 12 months is a lot more detailed, and there's a lot more information.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And M26 Pershing Menacing following on Twitch. Thank you. White87FC saying on YouTube, this mod is so cool. Honestly, I've been waiting for a while to play Railroader since I've had to patch together a PC. I think after the Maintenance Away update, it'll be fine. It'll bring some more life into the game. Absolutely. These mods definitely bring a lot of life in.
They do. They do. They do indeed. Yeah, okay. I cannot find the document that I was looking for. But, fun fact, the Appalachian Railway actually leased and owned all of the trackage from Ella to Round Bottom, called Parsons Junction. It was some sort of agreement that I don't remember the specifics of, but it was some shady business deal.
And M26 Pershing Menacing, company mode is still a little borked right now. It's a known issue. It'll be worked on in the future here. So, you know,
it is being worked on as we speak.
Yes. So, this is definitely your kind of like the first look of, hey, it's out publicly. Let's go take a look. You know, but the bugs, like everything else, they'll be worked out. You know, and stay tuned. Definitely follow the page on Nexus to see when those updates drop. So, you know, all good things come to those who wait.
Indeed. It's an error of obviously I've been working and making it work for 8 months, and so now the public and their mods and what they have on their computers is going to be different.
How can we break this in a way that they didn't think we'd break this?
Exactly. So, in a way, I could work on this thing for 3 more years and not figure out all of the ways that it could be broken. So, it was time to let that happen.
Yep.
And I think now is the right time.
There you go. And Thorn, I also hope the Maintenance Away update comes soon. You know, we don't have any information yet other than what Adam and all the guys who've been working on that have been posting. But, yeah, who knows when it'll come, but I'm excited to see what happens when we get it. So. Okay, so we're passing, I guess there was a logging switch up here somewhere, Indian Land switch.
There is. I believe you have to enable that in the map features window.
Huh, map features window.
That was the last one that they were building. So up there is where they were going to plan, I think it was another 30 miles in total of, I think it honestly, looking at it, it looks like they just decided to scribble on a map, and that was what they were building. It is immense. I'll have to send it to you. But it's an insane amount of trackage that they were planning up there.
Sounds like it.
Let me get it, because I know where that one is.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Look at all these switchbacks. All right. Is there a massive coal mine on this map similar to Kirkland/Robinson? No, there is not. Quaint gentleman asking, how difficult is it to funnel logs to the mill from Conley Creek and the logging sites near Bryson? I can never find a place to use the logs in the Bryson site. I'm sure that with this mod, you could take the logs from Bryson and Walker Branch and Conley to this. Honestly, that may be what we try to do when we actually have access to it. And we can really, not access to it, but when they get the company mode stuff figured out, that would be cool to try out. Otherwise, I think it's Woodward Wilson has a mod that adds a sawmill, and there's another mod on Nexus that adds a pulp mill over at Bryson. So if you want 2 dedicated logging operations, actually 3 now with this, you could do one with Conley Creek just serving the Whittier sawmill. You could have one at Bryson and Walker with the sawmill and pulp mill there, and then obviously this. So check out the mods on Nexus. You can kind of figure out what works best for you. And I just got sent by King.
Oh, wait, that actually says the date, 1918 to 1927.
Okay.
So everything in red was planned, but never built. And you can
built.
see in the bottom there's the Indian land switch that was going to connect up into there.
Okay.
But I should mention that both Connolly, Walker, and the sawmill are disabled by default because they are all stand-ins for this branch. So they will be available for you if you want to use them. They are free progressions, so in the same way that you would enable something, you can just go enable them in the progression and milestones window if you wish to use them.
Excellent. All right, so I think for the sake of continuing to see what we got here, we're going to pass by Indian Land Switch. We'll fly up there in a moment just to see it, but we're going to keep heading over towards Round Bottom Camp, take on some water, and then start heading up. I'm going to assume the quote-unquote main line is to Pretty Hollow.
Yeah.
So
I would not call it a main line. I would more so call it a line.
It's the line.
Correct. It's yes. This is the line of all time.
It is one of the lines of all time. All right, so we're gonna fly over Indian Land Switch here just to see. Oh yeah, that's logging bullshit right there. Okay, so
Not
and
even the cheapest one on the route, by the way.
I believe it. Excellent.
On Google, if you go on Google Earth and look up Skitter Branch, NC, it'll take you right to where this branched off. And if you look carefully, you can very clearly see the cuts and embankments of this line.
Nice bridges too. Okay.
They were in the process of building this at the creation of the national park.
Okay.
To get back into, I don't remember what this valley is called, but to get back into this valley.
And you can see where they stopped. There you go.
You can.
Cool.
I do believe this is the last progression that you do have access to. You can't build it until you build everything else. So,
which makes sense. If you're trying to do it kind of historically accurate, then that's the way you have to do it.
Exactly.
That's
but it's a very beautiful view. So.
It is. It's very pretty. And where's our train? I think the train
Probably
went past
in the
here.
river.
There it is. Oh, I'm almost out of water. That's a problem.
You got it.
Can I reach Hyatt Creek? I have 100 gallons of water left.
I think you can. I think you might. Maybe.
All right, I am not optimistic, but we're going to try this.
So there is only one water tower that was mentioned in any historical research that we found, and it was the one at Hyatt Creek. So that's your water tower fact of the day. But we did add one at Round Bottom on the Y for gameplay and simplicity.
I do not think I'm going to make it. I am on 69 gallons of water.
Nice.
Nice.
The history and just the amount of nonsense that they got up to back here is so astounding sometimes. It still surprises me. They were just farting around.
I believe it. All right, my guy on the injector, stop injecting water. I got 28 gallons left. Yeah, I'm fucked. If only there was a command that would help us in this time of need. And like that, magically, the water has flowed. We'll still stop at the water tank for reasons here, but, you know.
Of course.
Historical accuracy. I also do appreciate the fact that you've sunk the ties far enough that the gravel actually covers over it.
I wish I could take credit for that. I have no idea why it does that. The ties completely disappear in a bit.
I'm okay with that.
I have zero idea why it does that, but you know what? Hey, I'll take it. It adds to the effect. I do believe it's because, like, when I would do the bridges, I would go back and inject a node, and when you inject a node, the rotations get a little messed up. So I am sure the entire thing is on, like, 0.03 degrees of tilt of super elevation. So I believe that's why, but you know what? It looks good, and I don't really have an interest in changing it.
If it works, it works.
It does. It would. I believe there's over 5,000, not 5,000 nodes, but 5,000 lines of just nodes.
I believe it.
I'd have to check the amount of actual nodes.
I mean, yes, Philip, you're right. Use a bucket to fill it up, or, of course, back in the day, you know, I know Cass also has, like, the hoses that they can actually just pump water into the tender. So, you know. All right, so we'll stop here for our quote-unquote massive need of water. Alrighty.
Water!
Yes. All right, well, while this fills, I'm going to go refill my water as well. So, King, if you want to take a moment and either plug some of the other mods you've made or anything else you want to say for a hot second, I'll be right back.
Of course. Okay. Hi, my disciples. You can find me on YouTube. Hold on. Let me make sure I do this right here. You can find me on YouTube, www.com/@the2e's King God. You can find me on Twitch, I believe the same thing, twitch.tv, 2e's the King God. I believe I have a TikTok account where I post seldomly, but there's some stuff on there if that interests you. You can find me, and if you do bug report this in the main Discord, my modding forum, King God's Modding Hub, and you know what? The chat. I'll put it in the chat for you people, so you have straight access. There you go. You can even find my YouTube channel from that. It's in the chat on YouTube, and Twitch. Boom. Get linked. Yeah, I think that's about it. So, subscribe to me on YouTube, and Twitch and TikTok, and something else. But I've been working on this since January. We've made a lot of stuff. We've made a lot of cool stuff. Oil loading, the interchange in Ravensford to simulate the industry. But I am not sure what the next project is going to be. There is going to be the future expansion to Smokemont. So you heard it here.
You're here first, folks. King's going to rebuild the entire Southern Railway in Railroader.
Hey, it could be. I could.
Yeah. And Garion, good to have you here. Yes, I am also surprised that I'm up at this point on a Monday. However, tomorrow I have a weird schedule, so, here we are. And besides, this is like the first time I actually could appeal to like West Coast audiences because I'm normally an East Coaster. So, there you go. We won't go too crazy long tonight, but I definitely want to make sure we show off as much of this as we can, and we'll go from there. But all right, so we're back and moving. We're doing our thing. Round bottom coming up soon here. And that's where you say after that point it would be in our best interest to drop probably a couple of these cars, correct?
Most certainly.
What would you say is the most number of cars an engine should take up at a time? Like if we took the 2 donkeys, the 1 camp car, how many?
I think that would be fine.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Alrighty, and here we go. Got some camp houses. We've got another coal loader, oil tank there, looks like.
There's supposed to be an oil loader there, but for some reason, I don't think I clicked the save button. So.
Coming soon! Coming soon.
Coming soon!
And then obviously we have a little engine shed. We've got station for your camp cars. And then, yeah, more steam donkeys. Mighty saying, how does it feel to be famous on YouTube? I am not famous on YouTube. If anyone actually thinks I'm famous on YouTube, that's a crock of shit. But I'm happy to be a part of YouTube.
You got more subscribers than me, so.
I'm working my tail off now.
I did get 3 subscribers in the last however many amounts of time, so thanks, team. Up to 217. Yeah.
We just hit 8,350, I believe, on my channel, or we're very close to it. I think we're within.
Gee, thanks for rubbing it in.
Yeah, I'm at 8,345 right now, so trying to get up to 10,000. I think once I'm after that 10,000 hump, it'll be hopefully a little bit easier to get seen on YouTube, you know. But, you know, try to cover a lot of bases because, again, I'm not just a one-trick pony. I try to do garden railroading, live steam railroading. Eventually, we'll get into 7.5-inch gauge stuff.
What? 7.5?
Yes. God's chosen. Miniature railway.
So, the yard and Y and engine shed here are, as far as we can tell, fictitious. But they look cool, and it's really helpful for playing the game. And quite honestly, that's more important.
Yes. And it gives you a nice hub to work out of, if nothing else.
Exactly. Well, that's essentially what Round Bottom was. It was the hub between the Timberlands and the sawmill.
And Mighty also asking, how do you like city building games? I don't know how that comes up with this. But I will say, last night I was actually up until midnight playing Tropico 6. So I do enjoy city builders and those sort of like simulated strategy games. So if people want to see that, that could be like a fun thing to do kind of on the side, maybe one day a week, just kind of like a rotating, like, I feel bored, let's do this.
I love those days where I just got a little whimsy in me.
Gary asking, how's the game running FPS-wise compared to some of our normal saves? I've been pretty consistent, I would say, above 30 frames.
Fuse does give performance boost.
Which is severely needed, especially for me who decides to run Cat or J Steel Mill frequently. And that is a memory and frame hog for sure. But so far, so good up here. And the Puerto Rican monk has subscribed on YouTube. I'm very happy to have a Puerto Rican monk following me on YouTube.
Hold on, I have a soundboard.
There you go. And Mike Love asking, how do the camp cars work? Those are your passenger equipment that you have to run basically between... Ooh, I saw the sign. Reduce speed to 15 miles per hour. Neat. But yeah, they're your passenger equipment heading north from Ravensford up to your camps.
All of the worker halts are normal passenger stations, just you can only serve them with the camp cars. So it's as close to getting to simulated reality of transferring the workers as possible.
Yep. And Butterfinger McGee is following on. There's a lot of unique names tonight. Butterfingers McGee on Twitch. So thank you. All right, we're gonna pause here for a second because we're gonna go up the switchback because I want to try to get up to Pretty Hollow tonight if we can. We'll see if we do or not. But let's go down the other line here, heading down towards Lynn Camp, just to show you what you got. Again, a couple more log loading places, it looks like. Very nice river running up here.
I can take credit for that river. I did do this one.
Nice. Ooh, I like that bridge. I like that curved bridge going across right there. That's really cool.
Thank you.
All right.
So the Lynn Camp branch here is actually 2 different progressions. One to Lynn Camp and then one to the Miller Skidder, which is going to be the last skidder on the line over here. So I would definitely say go to Lynn Camp and Miller before you go to Pretty Hollow and Beach Ridge and everything, because it is much, much more challenging.
There you go. Here's your skidder out here. End of the line. So, excellent. Love it. Meanwhile, we have a switchback to climb. So,
you are probably going to stall with that. I don't know. We'll see.
Let's find out. Oh my god, yeah, there's the grade.
That is not even the worst of it. This is tame until the second switchback. Yeah, they did not run any rod engines back here. This was
all the land of the Shay.
Land of the Shay and geared engines. I believe I know some of the operation at Smoke Pond had a climax that still exists.
Ooh.
So, I don't think any of them survived here. I know that some of them were turned into stationary boilers down in Ella. So, fun fact.
Yeah, we are climbing hot and heavy. We're maintaining at 18 miles an hour, which is better than I thought we'd be. But we'll see how it do. And Mighty, remember, we do have access to Willamettes, Shays, and Climaxes in game, thanks to Greninja, Daniel Gallery, and Luna. So we have plenty of logging bullshit to choose from with this. And you bet your butt, once we start running this as an actual save, we'll probably run this little tank engine up to here and then run Shays from there. So
that is what I recommend. I tried to, at least gamify it a little bit to where, you're not, because although some people would love to go 5 miles an hour the whole way, it's like, it's already 4 hours long. And, we got lives.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I would definitely recommend running rod engines, definitely faster transfer locomotives from Round Bottom down to the sawmill, and then the shades and everything.
Yeah. In Steamlands, you do have a point. We do have the articulated logging melees, which are another option you could always choose from, depending on how you want to run your railroad. So you got options. You can choose. It might not be prototypically correct, but you can choose. And Garion, this will be a completely dedicated logging save. No Kirkland, no Steel Mill, no Robinson Gap. Honestly, depending on how we want to run it, it could be a Epps Springs interchange from Bryson to the end of the line up here, and we almost completely bypass Whittier, depending on how you want to run it. But we can talk about that and figure that out. Garion's one of our mods, so we can figure that out and determine what would be cool. And of course, for you guys who are watching, if you want to give your input of, hey, you should run a railroad like this, we will take all requests within reason and see what we can do. And if we like the idea, maybe we'll run it.
The articulated steam that Luna made definitely has a place back here. Maybe not on this part of the line, but at least
somewhere up here.
At least somewhere.
Yes, and Garion, very good point. The best place to give any suggestions is in the Discord. Do consider joining our Discord. I would have made the comment of, well, we have Railloader and Strange Customs and Confusing Supplements safe back there, but now that that's pretty much moot with Fuse, still join. We talk about trains. We talk about other stuff. We sometimes kind of quiet and sleepy. Sometimes we're pretty active, so consider joining. It's also where I post announcements of stuff and ways to chat, that sort of thing.
Ways to chat. You gotta love it.
Yes. Ways to communicate in this modern day and age.
Casey was just explaining to me how she has this app where you send carrier pigeons.
Oh,
to
you
your friend.
Roost. Yes, you got to join
Yeah.
Roost.
You know what? I'm gonna go download it right now. Actually,
You can add me on Roost.
I will absolutely.
Yes.
Let's go get it.
Yes.
She was explaining it to me, and I was like, "This is the best fucking thing I have ever seen."
Yes. One of my birds, which is named Big Fat Shithead, just made a delivery to another mutual friend of ours, Boo Mario, and I've got several other very tepidly named birds making deliveries, and a snail is on their way to Casey. So that'll be there next week.
Excited! I'm downloading it right now.
So for those who don't know, Roost is a social media messaging app, but it's basically of what if your messages were being sent by carrier pigeon? So it actually goes at the speed of what a carrier pigeon or various bird would do. It's completely stupid, and I love it.
And if you're sending it to the southern hemisphere, it flies upside down until it crosses the equator.
Something like that. All right, we are now past the second switchback, heading further up into the hills.
Okay, this is where it gets real. I gave you a little head start there.
Oh, I see the grade. It gets worse.
It gets up to 8%. Not here. But
Wow.
oh my god, it's social media.
Yes.
This is amazing. Oh my god, I can actually use King God as a username. If you guys want to add me on Roost, it's King God. This is your one chance.
Jesus Christ. Okay, we are now at the top of the next switchback already? Yes, we are.
Oh, this little shit is actually performing. Nice.
Still need to shed some weight at the next siding. All right, we're going to make a run at it. Because all good logging railroads have you go 30 miles an hour off of a switchback. Oh, geez, the grade and the curve here. What the hell?
I told you, it gets crazy.
Oh, my gird. This is the exact kind of logging bullshit that I live for. Okay. So now we have a bit of a run through Pine Oak Gap to Beach Ridge. Mighty also saying, how much of a bad idea to throw a massive locomotive on this line? That would be terrible. It would not work. You know, as much as you're like, oh, get a Yarrow, get a Yellowstone up here. It would not work. It would be a bad time.
Technically, you can traverse any curve in the game going less than 5 miles an hour.
Technically. Technically, you're also an idiot for thinking that way, but we don't say that. Yes, this is the exact kind of stupid logging. Oh, man. I can't wait. Mark of 1, the M2, I'm sure would not have a good time up here. Oh, there's the curve.
It gets worse. It always gets worse.
Oh my god.
I'm surprised that the tank is actually handling itself quite well up here.
I'm just watching my water just drop, though.
There is a water tower at Beach Ridge. Once you hit the switch to Pinout Gap, it's basically flat.
Oh, that's right. You said it's, like, stupid to get up here, and then now you're at the top. It's flatter.
They're geniuses.
Yeah, that horseshoe curve right down there, that is just, oh god, here we go again.
I believe there's an even worse one coming.
Oh, goody.
If my brain cells remember correctly.
God, look at that grade.
I believe here it only gets to about 7.
Only 7. On what
maybe
degree
it's 8.
curve?
Maybe it's 8, like 40, 50.
Okay. God, just
And, like,
seeing the height difference.
That's me making them better than they were.
I'm sure they were at like 11%.
No, not the grade. The grade is pretty accurate since I could pinpoint coordinates. So it's pretty accurate in terms of the grade, but in terms of the actual corners, I did make them less
Sharp.
stinky. Yeah. But like, I like some of them. It's like I quite honestly don't understand how they possibly could have done that. Like looking at the LiDAR data, I have no idea. I have no idea. It's like they made a 180-degree turn in about 50 feet.
Yeah, this is...
Unless I just can't read LiDAR data.
Yeah, this is some Uinta level bullshit right here. I love it.
It's crazy. But that's why it's fun.
What the fuck are these back-to-back curves? Oh, and there's a nice little hump there.
Oh. Oh, great. Yeah. You know what? I'll keep it. It adds to the charm.
Name it after me. Ragtimer's hump. Actually, that sounds terrible. Don't do that.
I'll have Ross make a custom sign.
There's a little sign. Ragtimer's hump. God. Philip asking how many rail miles are in this mod.
It is, you know, the AI waypoint says from Ella to the end of the line at Pretty Hollow is 34 miles. Not including all the yard tracks, not including the line to Lynn King. So it's more than half the length of the base game.
So basically you could live up on this line and have your own dedicated game, more or less.
Oh, 100%. That's why I referred to it as a pseudo DLC earlier. It's a lot. But I think that's also what's so awesome about it, is that it is so much, and if you don't want to do all of it, you don't have to, because you have to build all of it anyway.
You can literally pick your poison of what you want to do.
which I think is how it should be. So that's like why I didn't make it so it permanently deleted Whittier or all of the logging lines, because I mean, I'm not in it. I'm not in this game to tell you how you have to play because you want to use my mod. You can do what you want. I'm just going to guide you to the more correct answer.
Yes.
So you'll notice that that's actually 2 trestles there.
That they slap together?
No, because the trestle spliney doesn't perfectly follow the curvature of the track, especially on a long curve like that.
Okay.
So I had to split it into 2. But I think it kind of looks cool.
Yeah.
Don't enter the smoke.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. That's where the frames say it's time to die. Yeah, these grades are something else. I love it. Like,
it's awesome. You don't really get to experience this in any other. I mean, it's a different mod that's ever been put out in terms of scope.
Oh, well, I'm on the ground.
What the hell happened? What? That might be my fault, actually.
Hmm. Do I have the momentum to keep going uphill? Yes, I do.
You got it. Imagine going down this with a fully loaded set of logs, though.
Oh, man, that's going to be a challenge. I love it.
It is. It's really fun.
Can't park there, mate. I'll park wherever I damn well please, thank you.
Good that you dropped those other cars, though, because
yeah.
I mean, after this, it's pretty much fine.
Damn it!
Did you do it again?
It did.
Okay. I'm gonna have to put speed limit signs on there. Well, I haven't ever taken a rod engine up. I always use shays, so I guess that's
well, I'm being your guinea pig then. You're welcome.
See, this is exactly why it's out now. Now all of you can tell me everything that I've ever done wrong in my life.
Yes. So it's literally the switchbacks, or not the reverse curves by Pin Oak Spur.
I'll put a sign there.
Here is where Ragtimer dumped his train twice. And lived.
No. Barely.
Yeah. Should we get Heist? Let's see how many P in the cups we can get on this line. Heist doesn't stream Railroader. He'll play Railroader, but he puts them out as videos. I stream it. I bet I could get Mark to send me a few piss cups, though, for this exact reason. Comment asking, are there other geared engines besides the Shay you have there? Is there a 3-truck Shay in Climax? So right now, the only Shays in game are 2 trucks, 3-cylinder Shays. So we have a Shay, we have a Willamette, which is different than a Shay, but it's pretty much a Shay. And then we have the Climax. I've heard rumor that at some point that we might get a Heistler, but it might be private right now. I don't really know. All I know is what we've got is pretty cool. We also have those logging LAs, which are the 2662s or whatever. So, yeah, this is logging. The wheels just screeching as the tires come into contact with every single curve.
Good news, though. You're almost there.
I know. I'm making it. So I know I can get up with 5 cars. Maybe I could get 6 if I was lucky, but they all have to be unloaded. Okay. So we're now passing by this branch here, which once again we'll just fly down there real quick to see more sharp. Ooh, more sharp curves.
And with this, they built it here because they essentially would just log out the entire valley. And so that's why it's such a long track here to finally get to the one at the other end, because they would take their trains and then slowly move up and down the valley and log the entire thing out.
That makes sense. And looks like I have reached the flats.
You have. There's some grade, but it's much more comparably flat to everything else. Definitely be careful going around the trestle curves, though.
Yep. Let's see if I can get the beach ridge and not die.
I have faith. I have faith in you.
This is a cute little train, though. 2 flats, a bunk car, and then... Yeah. It's a vibe.
Almost prototypical of what you would run up here when you were building the progressions. Now, because you have to haul gravel, ballast, ties, rails up that.
Yeah.
To build. So, it's a challenge. I do, if I recall correctly, we did make the progressions up here a little bit less. So you're not fighting it for 8 years to build up here.
God, and just seeing over the mountains like, yeah, you're going to be over there at some point.
Right.
Jeez.
I don't know why, but when I was building this, I did not realize that I was just on the other side of the valley. I was like, whoa! You could see over there.
Yes. And for all those people who are like, oh, we need more powerful shays in the game, well, maybe someone will eventually mod one in. I don't know.
Go make them.
Yeah.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, if you're so adamant on we need a C90 shay, we need this, learn how to make it, man, guy. Or commission someone to make it for you. There's a couple of mod makers out there that'll do commissions, so, you know, if you pay them, it'll come.
That's what she said.
Hey. Well, it is officially post midnight now, so this can be considered ragtime or after dark.
Oh.
It's like Squidward Live, but a lot more boring.
Squidward? You get compared to Squidward a lot?
Welcome to the Krusty Krab. My name is Squidward. May I take your order?
My profile picture on Discord was me for a while, and on about 3 separate... It was like a joke with my friends. They thought my profile picture was Lord Farquaad. It was me. Not looking, to me at least, looking like Lord Farquaad. And then a random individual in a server that I had not interacted with before said, please forgive me, but I thought your picture was Lord Farquaad. And I said, God fucking damn it.
There you go.
So I became Lord Farquaad. I had his castle as my background and his face as my profile picture for about 1.5 years. So I was just like, we out.
Embrace it.
I think that was my last one before this current one that I made.
Well, there you
I
go.
don't remember. I'm very excited for the new tree models coming in MOW.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
And river textures and ground textures, it seems.
Yup.
All good things, all good things.
Yes. Isn't the top of this line not too far from the Little River Railroad? I don't know.
I believe it is not that far. We get really close to the Tennessee border. When we come around this curve coming up, I believe, there's another branch off of this that I could not do due to a game limitation that you will see demonstrated if you zoom out and look to your left.
So that's just the edge of the tile?
No, that's the top of the map.
Ah. Oh, and I'm on the ground again.
My faith has dissipated.
Let's see here. Oh, I got wheel slip. Oh wait, I'm on the ground again.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That may be a 2 mile an hour curve. It really is really pretty back here. There was a feature in Alina's Utilities that I really loved that you could extend the draw distance, so you could see the entire valley. It was nice to see.
Nice. I don't know if I'm gonna make the next water stop. So we're
shouldn't be too hilly.
I'm back down to 300 gallons.
I don't remember making it this hard.
And yes, Comet, the other person in the call here is King God, the creator of the mod here. So, and Josh Iwashi plays over on Twitch saying, so I'm guessing all the mods that are critical high in the diagnostics report in Fuse, meaning I need to wait till they're compatible with Fuse.
What did he just say?
All of the mods that are critical / high in the diagnostics report in Fuse, meaning I need to wait until they're compatible with Fuse.
Oh. If a mod has a problem being loaded Fuse 9 times out of 10 because Fuse was built with much stricter JSON requirements. So it's usually just something the mod creator has to fix.
Yeah, because I know there
were a lot of JSON issues with this one that I needed to just... All simple things, like, there were using, and it was also using a lot of, like, rail lingo, like, $ replace, or using Mandelas, you know, stuff like that. But most times, Fuse understands what it's saying. So...
And again, it's brand new.
So that mod creator. Yeah. Exactly. Like, we tested it with this and the mods on the EFNA. But...
And Dwarf892, member for 17 months, saying, I would suggest a derailed drinking game, but with the amount of times this happening, we'd all end up in the hospital. Look.
Amen.
You're not wrong, but that doesn't make you right either. And maybe what we'll have to do is when we do run this as a series, have a derail counter, and it maybe like every 4 derailments or something have to force a shot or something. I don't know. TBD. Again, suggested in the Discord if you so choose, and we can see what happens with it.
Yay, Discord!
And I'm gonna put my link to my Discord in the chat here, so join if you want or not. I'm not your dad.
Or maybe I am, and you should join.
Whoa. I might actually make it.
I think you might.
This time I actually might. I'm a little more cautious of it going in. That's right, White 87 FTC. You could also play the exciting counting game in Discord. A shot of Mount Gayron every 5 derailments. And yes, CLB Assets is not working in here right now. So... CLBs is in the folder, but it's not loading correctly.
So this is Beach Ridge. This is personally my favorite spot on the whole line because you are literally on a ridge between the 2 mountain valleys. It's really awesome during like sunset and during the rain.
Nice.
And a water tower.
Yes, a much needed water tower.
Which is also a progression. Where's my clap sound? We're a progression fan club here, if you can't tell.
Yes. I'm okay with this.
It's hard. It's supposed to be hard.
That's what my last girlfriend said. Wait, what?
Oh!
Welcome to Angry Ragtime After Dark, where we say all the shit we can't normally say at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyways. Someone's going to discover this at like 9 in the morning tomorrow at their like desk job and be like, oh, cool, a new mod for Railroader. They're going to at this point be like, what the fuck were they on? And it's just tiredness. That's all it is. Because you have to understand, this is 12:15 in the morning my time.
How are you a minute ahead of me?
Magic.
But all of the main locations of this have the scenery that I'm more okay with than not. But it's like, there are a couple places where I didn't feel it was worth holding the mod back because there wasn't scenery.
Yeah. All right, we'll quickly look down Beach Ridge while we take on some water here. And what do you think, King? We've been going for almost 2.5 hours. Do we make the final push up to Pretty Hollow? Although that's a fair distance, or should we just preview it for now and let the poor streamer go to bed?
I am completely content with just zooming over it.
Okay, let's zoom over it then. Alrighty.
We can gawk and ooh all we want later.
Yes. All right, more sharp-ass curves. Love it. Although that one's not as bad as some. Cutting around the ridge. This reminds me of, do you watch, it's a channel on YouTube called Ghost Town Living?
Yeah.
I love Brett's videos.
Yeah.
But, like, just, like, the top of all these hills reminds me of his one where he was trying to find that one abandoned, like,
Weird
mill.
guy yeah.
And he's just, like, going across all the ridges. Okay, so I gotta ask the story about the bridge that looks like it was shifted over at one point. Was that intentional, or was that a...
So I have deleted that bridge 5 times.
Excellent. Love it.
We're fixing it later.
Love it. All right.
I don't know how it keeps coming.
I think it's a fun aesthetic choice.
I do not understand how that continues to come back. But it's okay.
Yeah. You do the thing. I definitely see what you mean. It's a lot flatter. You're still going up, but, you know.
Very, very little.
Yeah. Much more of a limited grade.
I'm not sure, but I remember seeing in the book, and it could also just be that the hikers that thought it was much flatter, because I bet they would after climbing.
They're like, oh man, this is so much better. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but no, very pretty up here. Definitely a unique logging railroad, that's for sure. And of course the usual jut outs for skid loaders and stuff.
Yeah, Casey went through and actually put a lot of the skidders in for me.
Nice.
So, thanks.
Thanks, Casey. That's true, Comet. White Pass did keep their old girder bridge, or the cantilever bridge, up after they built the new one in the tunnel. Although that one I've heard is now falling apart and falling down slowly. But that's beside the point.
Now, the one there is also floating, so I kind of feel weird about keeping that. But like I said, I've deleted it 5 times. I don't. It just wants to be there.
6 times the charm.
Is that what they say?
Yeah, something like that. All right, so we're up at Pretty Hollow. We're near the end of the line here.
And there is an engine service and water and coal here at Pretty Hollow.
But no oil.
No oil.
Hmm.
That's gonna come.
Interesting.
Like I said, I put them in. They didn't want to stay. It was version mismatch between me and someone.
Got it.
Don't worry. It's all coming. It's all coming. You know, it'll be hard. Realistically, if someone is actually going to play this and do all of the progressions to get there, I got about a week.
Yep.
To figure it out.
Yep. But there you are. Over the past 2.5 hours, we've taken a look at the brand new Appalachian Railway mod by King God and friends. All the way from Ela, all the way up Ravensford, a whole bunch of logging. This is going to be very cool. It is out now on Nexus. Again, make sure to have Fuse installed. You will need it. Also available on Nexus. A couple of bug fixes still need to happen. They'll be coming soon. Keep an eye out for that. This looks really fun. I can't wait to see what happens with this and definitely play it more with my friend group. So if you're watching the stream now and you want to see what happens with that, definitely subscribe to the channel. As I said, I try to stream at least 2 times a week, sometimes 3, with Railroader, and then sometimes we'll play other games, whether they're kind of silly, stupid ones like Water Park Simulator, which has been like my new side obsession, or you know, Fast Food Simulator in the past, Cabbage Simulator. Everyone likes to talk about cabbage and all that shit. You know, obviously, trains are our thing. Of course, there's also videos about live steam garden railroading. So G-gauge trains that run on actual coal, water, or butane. 7.5-inch gauge stuff will come in the future here. And, of course, lots and lots of other fun stuff. So, again, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so you can follow along. Like the stream. It does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. It really does, especially for small content creators like me. Keep following the progression of this mod, both on Nexus and in Discord. Follow the official Railroader Discord. Join King's Discord. I believe the link was posted in there earlier to keep up to date on everything.
That was actually to the modding forum.
The modding forum. Whatever.
I will put the link in there.
Yeah.
You guys can come in. It's cool. We hang out.
Yeah.
We do stuff.
And, of course, to anyone who super chatted or joined as a member tonight, thank you. You guys are the true MVPs, and every little bit that gets sent in here does help with stuff in real life for me, including my Alfredo car, which will be told more in the future. So, yes. Dwarf892, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I appreciate it. And on that note, we'll let the membership scroll go. And thank you for watching. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, King, for joining tonight.
Of course.
And we'll see y'all at a future date and time here.
Bye, team.
Bye.